very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. Welcome to our first edition of News Tonight. My name is Michael Jordan Lukuma. Muhammad Mugalu is already here too for the sign language interpretation. President Yoweri Museveni, in our first story, is the recipient of the African Leadership Peace Award in recognition of his efforts in stabilizing and transforming Uganda. The award by the African Leadership magazine was bestowed on the president by the publication's publisher Dr. Ken Giami at a ceremony on Tuesday, 21st January 2020 at the Royal Geographical Society in Kensington, London. Thanking the Pan-Africanist magazine for the honor, President Museveni said that he was humbled to receive the award, adding that Uganda's march to prosperity was unstoppable. In his address, the president paid tribute to his colleagues who had died during the liberation struggle and led the audience in observing a moment of silence in their memory. The president said that whereas Africa had missed out on the earlier industrial revolutions, its potential to succeed was immense if only the leaders are able to properly diagnose what ails it and make correct prescriptions, pointing out 10 strategic bottlenecks like ideological disorientation, market integration, and infrastructure. The president said that once they are tackled, Africa can be certain to succeed and also prosper.
Magazine Dialogue ALM 2020 in London. There is no doubt that the NRM, our political group, and its precursors, the precursors are the groups which we formed before, rescued Uganda from total collapse. That one is a fact, statistically provable. There is nothing to beat about this, that the NRM rescued Uganda. And that can be statistically proven. We did it by a correct diagnosis. If you want to be a social or political actor, you should look at yourself as a medical doctor who is facing a patient. When a doctor has a patient, the first job and the most important job is the diagnosis. The first known black person to get to Uganda was an Arab man known as Ibrahim, who got to Uganda in 1841. Otherwise, our people had never seen a known black person. I do not know the original motivation of the Royal Geographical Society. However, that link up led to the opening up of Africa. I salute you and I commend you. Thank you very much.
President Yoweri Museveni is back in the country following his successful conclusion of a 6-day foreign trip to Togo and to London, the British capital. The president, who was in Lome, capital of the West African nation of Togo, from the 17th to the 19th of January 2020, joined other heads of state and governments there for the France-Africa summit that deliberated on issues pertaining to drug trafficking and counterfeit medicines on the African continent. During the 2-day summit in Lome, President Museveni described the continued trafficking of counterfeit, substandard and falsified medicine and health products on the African continent as a crime against humanity and a huge risk for countries all over the world. While in London for the inaugural UK-Africa Summit, the President urged investors at the UK-Uganda Business Forum to report government officials who seek bribes, saying that punitive action will be taken against those found guilty. He was also the recipient of the African Leadership Peace Award in recognition of his efforts to stabilize and transform Uganda. The President was received on arrival at Entebbe International Airport this evening by Presidency Minister Esther Mbayo and the Head of Public Service, John Mitala. Others to receive him at the airport included Assistant Inspector General of Police Andrew Sorowen, Lieutenant General Charles Luanga Lutaya, Commander of the UPDF Air Force, and Moses Kakunguru, who is the in charge of corporate corporate affairs in the Uganda Prisons Services. Fire has gutted factories in McConnell Industrial Area, destroying property worth millions of shillings. The inferno is suspected to have been sparked off by charcoal stoves in restaurants where that cook food for the business people in the area.
Small-scale manufacturers at McConnell Industrial Area are in shock after the destruction of their property by a fire that gutted their factories in the night. Machines that grind flour and poultry feeds plus timber equipment are among those that were destroyed. The cause of the fire has not yet been verified, but manufacturers suspect it was caused by restaurant operators around this area. The leadership of Mukono, led by Mayor Kajumu George Fred, have consoled the affected people for the loss. Member of Parliament Mukono, Honorable Namboze, has urged those who have lost property to write down their names so that she can devise ways of supporting them. I'm Nafka Farida.
Story not good to the business people in Mukono there. But moving on, the National Resistance Movement will be commemorating the NRM Liberation Day on the 26th of January to mark 34 years since it came into power, and the ceremony will be held at St. George's Core PTC Playgrounds in Kagongo Division, Ibanda Municipality. The day to be marked under the theme celebrating the NRM National Resistance Army patriotic struggle that ushered in national unity and socio-economic transformation will be presided over by President Yoweri Museveni as chief guest. He will also award a total of 95 medals to different distinguished personalities for their role in the liberation struggle. Minister for Presidency Esther Mbayo addressed the media in Kampala about the upcoming event, as we see in this report.
6th of January 1986, the NRA captured power and a new chapter in Uganda's history was written. The 34th NRA Victory Day, therefore, is an emotional day for all children of the mother Uganda, whether living at home or abroad. We remember with gratitude the countless freedom fighters that struggled, strived, and made heroic sacrifices to win us our freedom from dictatorial regimes. For Uganda, the realization of our most cherished goal, the liberation of our country and the freedom of our people, is fitting tribute to the heroism and the tenacity with which our people fought for. The democratic milestone achieved since 1986, when the NRA came into power, are something to pride in. Free and fair and periodic elections are now a given in Uganda. The journey that began as a patriotic struggle of a few young men and women ushered in national unity and socio-economic transformation worthy celebrating. Under NRM, Uganda has walked the talk. This year's celebrations will be held under the theme celebrating NRA is a patriotic struggle that ushered in national unity and socio-economic transformation. The national celebrations will take place at Ibanda Core PTC grounds, Ibanda district. General Yoweri Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, will be the guest of honor, and other very important guests are expected to join him to celebrate this day.
Honorable Esther Mbayo, Minister for Presidency. 2 police officers attached to Mulago Police Station have been granted 500,000 cash bail each, while their sureties 4 million shillings non-cash. This was after the duo presented substantive sureties and clear documents including a medical report for Amos Mbwira, who is said to be suffering from both typhoid and pneumonia. Court, presided over by the Anti-Corruption Court Grade 1 Magistrate Moses Navende, has however directed that the duo reports back on the 17th day of February for mention of their case. Prosecution alleges that sometime on the 24th of October last year, while at Mulago Police Station, the duo solicited for 1 million shillings from Ibrahim Lubowa as gratification for themselves in exchange for releasing neuro-respiratory sets and Carl Store endoscopy instruments back to Lubowa Ibrahim, which had been seized. Prosecution further faults the Detective Constable Mwira Amos for accepting 150,000 shillings from Ibrahim Lubowa as gratification for himself.
For fair terms, and the court has released them on fair terms, cash and other conditions. So they are supposed to report back in court on 17th of February. 500 is fair, is what court has granted, and we think that is fair. The sureties have been bonded to 4 million, not cash, so which we believe is affordable, but we think the officers have no reasons to run away or escape. They will be there to face justice because we believe in their innocence.
Parliament has learned that the Isimba dam contractor has threatened to lay down his tools if government does not pay his arrears by Friday this week. This was disclosed by the Bunyori West legislator James Waruswaka, who told Parliament that the contractor up to now has not received a penny from the Ministry of Finance before Parliament went for recess last December. The Speaker, Kadaga, had directed Ministry of Finance to clear the said arrears of 35 billion shillings, which directive has since not been respected. Parliament had also directed the Parliamentary Committee on Infrastructure to investigate the issues and report back.
I think is almost reaching the climax. I got information that the contractor is laying down tools, Madam Speaker, on Friday. Reason is that Minister of Finance and the Minister of Energy had promised, after the alarm we raised in the Parliament, that continue, if they get a subcontractor, we shall pay you shortly. But up to now, the contractor has not received any money from the Ministry of Finance. So, my request to government, Madam Speaker, before the contractor lays down the tools on Friday, Madam Speaker, can the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Energy come now and tell the country, one, why they have not paid the contractor for the work he did, and why do they want him to construct a bridge when they have not given him the money?
This infrastructure is financed through external financing,
and it is something that we can attend to this afternoon and make sure that there is no crisis on Friday. So as we sit, we are going to work with the Ministry of Energy and see how we can manage it. We don't have the facts now, but we are going to check now. Thank you.
That's tomorrow. 25.
Yeah, we'll give you an update tomorrow.
Away from Parliament, as the National Resistance Movement Party prepares for the forthcoming Delegates Conference due this week, districts without party district chairpersons have held elections to fill those positions. In Mityana, the party elections were presided over by the NRM National Electoral Commission chairperson, Dr. Tanga Udoi, at SAZA headquarters in Mityana, where Chintu John was elected new NRM chairperson of Mityana district.
National Electoral Commission Chairperson Dr. Tanga Udoi has commended the NRM members in Mityana district for the political maturity during the elections of the NRM district chairperson and the vice chairpersons held at SAZA headquarters in Mityana. The post of NRM district chairperson in Mityana felt vacant after the death of the late Enoch Katua 3 years ago, leaving Hadinziza Chiberege the vice to work as the interim chairperson. During the elections, which started at 12:30 p.m. and ended at 3:45 p.m, were presided over by Dr. Tanga Udoi. Chintu John was announced winner with 133 votes, and his opponent Hadinziza Chiberege got 71 votes. In the position of the vice chairperson, Chibedi Nsegumiro was also announced in this position with 140 votes against Kakumba Francis, who got 54 votes.
Vice Chibedi, Vice Kakumba, Vice Chibedi 2, Chiberege, Chintu.
As chair of NRM Electoral Commission in Uganda, do you declare Mr. Chintu John as the new chairperson of NRM?
The Mityana NRM incoming chairperson Jen Chintu, who commended the voters for trusting him, encouraged them to work together as party members to enable root back the disgruntled members so as to strengthen party structures.
So that all our people acquiring the first education level. You find out that in Mityana, when you move around, you find many people are illiterate. I'm going to consult the DEO and the other stakeholders and education line to see that all people are getting the first education, because the government has constructed a number of schools over there. So,
Shagit Nasaku reporting for UBC.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay. Dial *185#, select option 6, school fees, select option 2, school pay, select option 1, pay fees, enter student number, enter the amount, enter the PIN number to complete payment. Beat the back to school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money, simple, instant, secure. Airtel, the smartphone network.
That's my little angel Rose. Together with millions of other children, my daughter Rose is assured of learning something new every day. Moses, my husband, just like many other commercial farmers, has his business supported so he can provide for us. When my other little one was on the way, even with my pregnancy complications, it was a quick, smooth ride to Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital. Also, my new baby was able to make it through his first days with the help of specialized equipment thanks to the reliable electricity which has also been extended throughout the country. All this and more has been made
made possible because of you.
Join us and together let's do more for our country. Get your free tin at www.ura.go.ug.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Hi, I'm DJ Drogba. On average, almost 250,000 people die on the road in Africa each year. As a proud African, this breaks my heart knowing that so many deaths could have been avoided. So when you're on the roads, follow these safe steps and help save lives. Remember, no person is too big or too small to avoid the effects of alcohol. Just one drink can increase the risk of a serious crash. Once it's in your blood system, the only remedy is time. Short-term remedies such as coffee, cold showers, or energy drinks don't help. If you need to travel after a drink, be responsible. Take a taxi or public transport, or just stay where you are. So when you're on the roads, follow these safe steps and help save lives. We all have a role to play in road safety. Together, let's make Africa's road safer.
On behalf of the National Chairman, the NRM Secretary General invites the following categories of delegates to the second meeting of the 3rd National Conference on the 25th of January 2020 at Namboli Stadium. The invited are the 1st National Vice Chairperson, the 2nd National Vice Chairperson, the 6 Vice Chairpersons representing regions, members of the National Executive Council, NEC, members of the NRM Municipal Executive Committees, members of NRM or Municipal Councils, promoters of the NRM Organization, Executive Committees of the NRM in the diaspora, NRM members of parliament or flag bearers, NRM members of the East African Legislative Assembly, members of the NRM Historical Leaders Forum, members of the National Executive Committees of all special organs, NRM chairpersons of districts or flag bearers, municipality mayors, members of NRM district executive committees, members of all district executive committees of all special organs, NRM members on district councils, and chairpersons of sub-county conferences. The public is hereby informed that no claims whatsoever will be entertained from any non-participants traveling to Kampala. Welcome to the Equal Opportunities Commission, an independent statutory body that works towards ensuring that all forms of discrimination, marginalization, and unfair treatment are eliminated. The Equal Opportunities Commission has power of court and can enforce its decisions. It is established and supported by the government of Uganda. It also garners support from development partners, civil society, the private sector, faith-based, and cultural organizations. Visit the Equal Opportunities Commission today, the home of equal opportunities for all, or call us on our toll-free line 0800 100 440. This message is brought to you by the Equal Opportunities Commission with support from the United Nations Human Rights Office.
Welcome to Business News Tonight. The annual export conference has been held in Kampala to streamline ways of how manufacturers in Uganda can be supported to improve on their exports. Among the key recommendations is to recapitalize UDC and as well support local investors to do business.
Business is one sector that has potential to partly address the issue of unemployment. However, to fast-track the effectiveness of direct and indirect creation of jobs, it is high time more investment is done in the industrial sector.
We are exporting about 23% of our goods manufactured. But even what we are calling manufactured goods here, there are a lot of questions about it. They are really not manufactured, just processing, primary processing, value addition. But when we talk of real manufacturing, like transforming a raw material into a finished product, we are still doing very badly on that front.
Because we export goods worth $714 million to Kenya and import $517 from Kenya. So that shows we have actually exceeded the trade volumes.
Business proprietors argue that there is lack of clear strategy for industry and support to local investors.
We want to see how we support them on branding, on general marketing, on hand-holding them to the market, and this is Uganda Export Promotions Board support.
By 2040, Uganda is projected to export 50% of its services, but possible interventions are key to achieve this objective. There is need to capitalize UDB, UDC, and as well increasing funds to Uganda Export Promotions Board, UBC, and UIA.
Government was using Uganda Development Corporation to invest. Now that it is back, it needs full support. By giving it that capitation which government talked about, they need to capitalize it by about 500 billion. To me, it's peanuts, but would be a good beginning if they got it lump sum and gave it to them.
The good news, however, is that by Uganda being Uganda supports industrial policy, there is increased commitment from the private sector, improved infrastructure, and relatively stable political environment. Sandra Kaundegaba, UBC Business.
Boxers who qualified to represent Uganda at the upcoming Olympic Qualifier Championships slated for the 16th of February this year in Senegal, Dakar, have Wednesday entered camp in Luzira. This was unveiled during a press briefing held at Uganda Boxing Federation office in Lugogo.
8 male and 5 female boxers have this time round been beefed up with 13 more boxers who will help the already qualified boxers as training partners during the intense training drills. Moses Muhanji, Uganda Boxing Federation president, says the aspiring partners will help to boost the boxers' momentum while polishing tactics, as he explains.
The Bombers team is comprised of 26 boxers. The 13 boxers are the main boxers, and the other 13 are the reserve boxers. Reserve means you're going to come to the camp to support the other main boxer to train better. You come as a sparring partner, and if maybe in unlikely circumstances something happens to the main boxer, then also the reserve can be given a chance to come and represent us.
The team has been beefed up with 8 technical coaching staff to take the boxers through their paces ahead of the tough challenge.
But nevertheless, we are going to start ours. We have about 25 days to go, and we hope to do the best that we can. We have a strong coaching team that's going to be headed by Coach Ilihanda and his entire team of about 8 coaches, so that we can give the best that we can for this team.
He attributes the delay to take on the Bombers earlier into camp to financial constraints, thus requesting National Council of Sports to fulfill the 500 million Uganda shillings pledge for the preparations.
This money has not yet hit our account. We are waiting for the money to come through, but we have gotten strong commitment from the government, from National Council of Sports, that they will support us with that kind of money to help the team prepare and be able to go for the competitions. So I'm happy for this kind of support from the government. This shows that at least the organization has improved, and they are willing to work with us as a federation. As much as we can provide the technical support for the team, but we always need resources, and now the guy that has come on board, we are very excited about it.
Super Heavy, Geko Solomon, Heavyweight Wambale Alex, Middleweight Samuju David, Welterweight Bombers Captain Shedil Musa are some of the male bombers, while in the women's category, Middleweight has Nasali Dorin, Welterweight Nakalema Emily, Lightweight Amogin Rebecca, Featherweight is represented by Akelo Susan, as well as Nancy Catherine in Flyweight. Boxing is one of Uganda's most decorated sports. For UBC, Helen Barbara, Gizamba.
Wishing the boxers all the best. We come to the end of news tonight, this first edition. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Muhammad Mugalu and the whole team. Let's get back to you at 10 p.m. but please do not miss our next program as you wait. For now, bye-bye.